He still sleeps beside you every night. But lately, you've noticed something. The way he breathes. The way he shifts. The way he doesn't shift at all. At 60, 70, or even older, the smallest things become the most dangerous, especially the way we sleep. Most people think aging takes its toll while we're awake. But the truth is, for many men over 60, it's what happens during sleep that's quietly stealing life away. Point number 1. The silent weight of sleeping on the back. It may look peaceful, his body stretched out, arms gently at his sides, lying flat on his back. But beneath that calm surface, something darker brews. As men age, the muscles that keep the airway open during sleep naturally weaken. That back sleeping position. It lets gravity pull the tongue and soft tissues backward, narrowing the airway. What seems like rest might actually be a nightly battle for breath. Every night, this position can trigger what doctors call obstructive sleep apnea. A condition where breathing stops and starts over and over. For men over 60, it's not just annoying snoring. It's a health threat that starves the brain of oxygen, raises blood pressure, and silently strains the heart. And yet, it often goes unnoticed. Or worse, dismissed. He might not remember waking up gasping. But you might have heard it. A sudden choke. A moment of silence too long. A snore that sounds more like a struggle. That's not just old age, it's a warning. A back sleeper over 60 could be unknowingly cutting off his own breath. And each night adds to the damage. Now think about the brain. Deprived of oxygen, night after night, it begins to change. Memory slips. Focus fades. Mood darkens. And sometimes, we mistake these signs for normal aging. But the real cause may be found in those quiet midnight hours, with his body lying flat, breath stifled by his own weight. Sleep should restore. But when he sleeps on his back, his body fights to survive. His heart races to keep oxygen flowing. His lungs strain against pressure. His nervous system stays alert, never fully resting. It's like running a marathon in his dreams, without even knowing it. What's more, studies show that this position can worsen acid reflux during the night. The stomach's acids creep up into the esophagus, leading to that burning sensation he never talks about. And long-term, this can lead to inflammation, ulcers, and even higher cancer risk. It's not just a discomfort, it's a slow, invisible threat. And then there's the circulation. Lying flat on his back can reduce blood flow to the brain and extremities, especially if his posture is poor or his pillow too low. Cold feet, numb fingers, morning headaches, these are whispers from the body, begging for change. What many don't realize is that back sleeping also puts pressure on the spine. Over time, this can lead to chronic lower back pain, stiffness, and nerve pinching. And once that pain sets in, sleep becomes even more fragmented, a vicious cycle that accelerates physical decline. In some men, especially those who've had strokes or heart issues, back sleeping increases the risk of sudden nighttime cardiac events. The body is more vulnerable in that position. It's not alarmist, it's anatomy. When the diaphragm struggles and the heart is compressed, it changes everything. Caregivers and partners often feel helpless, watching the man they love struggle in his sleep. But they don't know what to do. Should you wake him? Should you turn him? Should you buy a new pillow or mattress? These questions haunt the night. But there are answers, and we'll get there. The key is awareness. Just knowing that the back sleeping position can be dangerous is already a step toward protecting him. Many seniors don't believe their sleep posture matters. They've slept the same way for decades. But what worked at 30, may be deadly at 70. Changing sleep habits isn't easy. But neither is watching the person you love slowly slip into poor health for a reason so simple, it almost feels unfair. The way he sleeps should restore him, not rob him. And thankfully, there are gentler, safer ways. As we move forward, we'll explore more hidden dangers in sleep habits that can impact life after 60. Each one is subtle, but powerful. Each one is avoidable. And each one might just save a life. 2. The curl of quiet collapse, fetal position risks. At first glance, the fetal position looks safe, even comforting. He curls up, knees drawn gently to his chest, arms folded inward, like a return to the womb. It's the pose of innocence, of seeking warmth and shelter. And for many older men, it feels like the only way to ease the pain of aging bones and aching joints. But this seemingly gentle posture holds its own quiet dangers. When the body curls tightly in on itself, the lungs have less room to expand. With each breath, less air fills the chest. And over hours, this shallow breathing pattern reduces oxygen flow, not just to the lungs, but to the heart, the brain, and every organ working to stay alive through the night. He may not notice it, but his body does. The ribs press inward. The diaphragm struggles for space. And for seniors already dealing with weakened respiratory muscles or past infections, this matters more than they know. A curled position can mimic the same effects as mild suffocation, only slower, subtler, and every single night. This posture can also tighten the abdominal cavity, leading to slowed digestion and pressure on internal organs. For older adults who already deal with constipation, bloating, or acid reflux, this only makes sleep less restorative and more harmful. The body craves rest, but in this shape, it works harder instead. Then there's the spine. Over time, curling into the fetal position night after night encourages spinal misalignment. It rounds the back and neck, reinforcing a posture that's hard to undo during the day. He may wake with stiffness, pain in the lower back, or tension in the shoulders, but not realize it all began with how he slept. Circulation also suffers. When legs are tightly bent or arms are tucked in too hard, blood flow is reduced. This can lead to numbness, tingling, or even long-term nerve compression. He may blame it on age, but the truth might be in his sleep position. A slowly forming clot, a quiet pinch to a nerve, these things begin silently. For those with arthritis, curling up can seem like relief, but it actually limits joint mobility. Joints stiffen in bent positions. Ligaments tighten. Muscles shorten. When he tries to stretch out in the morning, the pain he feels might not be from aging, but from shrinking himself night after night. Psychologically, the fetal position also has meaning. It's a protective posture. It often reflects inner tension, anxiety, or a sense of vulnerability. And while comfort is important, we must ask, what is his body guarding against? If sleep becomes a place of withdrawal, rather than renewal, it slowly chips away at the spirit too. This isn't to say that curling up is always bad. But when it becomes habitual, when it replaces breathing room with compression, or comfort with collapse, it can become another invisible threat. His body needs to stretch. To open. To breathe deeply and without struggle. Especially in these later years. The irony is this: what once protected us in youth, can harm us in old age. The very position that soothed him as a child may now rob him of energy, strength, and even years. Sleep posture isn't just a comfort preference, it's a choice that shapes health over time. For some, just placing a small pillow between the knees or behind the back can ease the risks. Opening the chest slightly with a supportive cushion or sleeping on a more ergonomic mattress can change everything. These aren't just products. They're invitations to better rest. We often think danger only arrives loudly, with pain, symptoms, or clear warning signs. But sometimes, it curls quietly beside us, unnoticed in the way he lies each night. The fetal position may seem gentle. But for a body over 60, it can be a slow collapse inward, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And now, we move to yet another common habit, one many seniors don't even realize they're doing until the damage is done. It's a position that seems harmless, until the shoulders give way and the heart whispers distress. 3. The shoulder crush, side sleeping gone wrong. Sleeping on one side seems natural, even recommended. Doctors often say it reduces snoring and aids digestion. But what they don't always explain is that not all side sleeping is created equal. And for men over 60, lying too long on one side, especially the same side every night, can slowly grind away at joints, nerves, and circulation. The most common side sleeping mistake is allowing the full weight of the body to collapse onto one shoulder. Over time, this compresses the rotator cuff, strains the muscles, and can lead to chronic shoulder pain. Many older men wake up unable to raise their arms easily, blaming age, when in fact it's their sleeping posture that's quietly sabotaging their strength. This position also impacts the neck. If the head is not properly supported, the neck bends unnaturally, pulling on tendons and pinching nerves. What starts as stiffness becomes sharp pain, headaches, or even vertigo. For seniors already managing arthritis or spinal issues, this adds unnecessary suffering. There's also a hidden impact on the heart. For some individuals, particularly those with pre-existing cardiac conditions, sleeping on the left side puts pressure on the heart, making it work harder. It's subtle, but in a weakened system, even small extra strain matters. Fatigue, shortness of breath, and nighttime palpitations may all trace back to the mattress. One rarely mentioned issue is nerve compression. Lying on one side for hours can trap the brachial plexus, the network of nerves running through the shoulder and down the arm. The result? Tingling, numbness, or a dead arm sensation upon waking. Over time, this can become permanent damage, especially if circulation is also impaired. Let's not forget breathing. Side sleeping can help reduce apnea, but only if the spine remains aligned. A poor pillow or a twisted lower back throws everything out of balance. The airway narrows, breathing becomes labored, and the body enters survival mode rather than restoration. For seniors with hip issues or joint replacements, side sleeping without proper support can be especially harmful. The pressure on one hip joint can cause cartilage damage, pain during walking, and long-term instability. And all of this begins silently. In a sleep that looks calm but is causing wear and tear. Even the skin suffers. Constant pressure on the same points, shoulder, hip, arm, can lead to skin breakdown, irritation, or even early bed sores. Men with thin skin due to age or medication are especially at risk. We often think bed sores only affect the bedridden, but a poorly supported side sleeper can develop them too. Then there's alignment. Side sleeping with legs curled in different directions twists the spine. One leg forward, the other back. It seems minor, but it creates torque that adds up over years. Sciatica, back spasms, and hip pain often originate from these nightly misalignments. One solution is simple yet underused: a pillow between the knees, a firm mattress, and conscious rotation between sides. Even elevating the chest slightly can improve alignment and take pressure off the shoulders. But old habits die hard. And without knowing the consequences, why would he change? Perhaps it's because no one told him the truth, that his shoulder pain, his headaches, his numb fingers might not be from aging, but from the way he's been sleeping. And once we know better, we can rest better. Because sleep should be a time of healing, not a slow erosion of strength. And now, we'll turn to a position even more overlooked, one that seems casual, harmless, but may be the most insidious of all. 4. Stomach sleeping, the hidden strain. He may only do it once in a while. Or maybe he's always done it, since his youth, falling asleep flat on his stomach, arms spread out, face turned to the side. It might feel grounding, even secure. But as he ages, this sleeping position becomes less of a habit and more of a hazard. Stomach sleeping is perhaps the most anatomically punishing position for an older body. It forces the neck into a full twist, held for hours on one side. Over time, this leads to nerve irritation, pinched discs, and cervical misalignment. Morning headaches, dizziness, and neck stiffness often trace back to this very pose. The spine also suffers. When the back is arched unnaturally for hours, it compresses the lower vertebrae, especially if the mattress is soft. For a man over 60, with possibly thinning discs or prior back injuries, this creates the perfect storm for chronic pain and spinal instability. Stomach sleeping also presses down on internal organs. The lungs have less room to expand, the diaphragm has limited range, and oxygen intake is reduced. For older men with asthma, COPD, or heart conditions, this spells danger. Sleep becomes less restful, less oxygen-rich, and more taxing. One overlooked danger is facial compression. Constant pressure on one side of the face can lead to fluid buildup, puffy eyes, or even long-term skin sagging and asymmetry. It's not just cosmetic. Facial nerves can become irritated, leading to twitching, numbness, or muscle fatigue. Breathing through the pillow is another risk. Men with larger necks or weaker airways may end up breathing stale, shallow air if the pillow is too firm or if the face sinks too deep. Over time, this contributes to carbon dioxide retention and reduced oxygenation. A slow, silent suffocation in the very position meant to bring peace. Digestion also suffers. Lying flat on the stomach slows gastric movement and puts pressure on the stomach. For those taking medications, or dealing with ulcers, bloating, or reflux, this position is a silent aggressor. Nightly discomfort builds quietly into disease. Some say it helps with snoring. But what they gain in noise reduction, they lose in spinal health, circulation, and breath quality. The cost is too high for comfort. Especially when better alternatives exist. Joint pain is also amplified. Arms often bend under the pillow or are stretched above the head. This strains the shoulders, elbows, and wrists. Older joints can't recover from this stress as easily as before. Tingling, weakness, or joint inflammation follow. Even the heart is affected. Pressure on the chest can subtly restrict heartbeat rhythm. And for men with stents, pacemakers, or weak cardiac muscles, that added weight makes a difference. Stomach sleepers often move less during the night. While this seems like deep sleep, it may actually be the body's quiet submission to discomfort, locked in place, unable to shift because movement has become too difficult or painful. The answer isn't just, don't sleep on your stomach. It's understanding why he does it, and gently guiding the body back to healthier positions. Sometimes, body pillows, side bolsters, or sleep training tools can help. Other times, it takes education and support. The body after 60 deserves softness, space, and care. And that includes how it lies down at night. The final habit we'll look at might surprise you, not a position itself, but something just as dangerous, stillness. 5. The danger of not moving at all. He lies there. Peaceful. Still. Too still. Hours pass, and his body hasn't changed position once. You might think it means he's finally sleeping well. But stillness in sleep, especially for older adults, can be a sign of something else, trouble. The body is built to move during the night. Even in deep sleep, we shift to relieve pressure, adjust circulation, and ease muscles. But as we age, that instinct fades. Pain, medications, or neurological changes can limit nighttime movement. The result? Pressure builds. Blood flow stagnates. Muscles cramp. When a man over 60 sleeps in one position all night long, he's at greater risk for pressure ulcers, nerve compression, and even blood clots. That stillness isn't just peace, it might be paralysis. And once it starts, the damage doesn't stop when he wakes up. Immobility can also signal disrupted sleep architecture. The brain might not be cycling through deep and REM stages properly. He may appear to sleep through the night but wake exhausted. The kind of sleep he gets matters more than the amount, and stillness can hide the lack of quality beneath the surface. Muscles begin to deteriorate without movement. Even small shifts at night stimulate circulation and prevent atrophy. But when the body becomes too stiff, too sore, or too medicated to move, it silently gives in to decline. He may notice weakness in the morning, but not know why. This stillness can also worsen breathing. If his position already limits lung expansion, not moving reinforces the problem. The body becomes locked into shallow breathing for hours. Oxygen drops. Carbon dioxide builds up. And the heart races to compensate. Neuropathy is another risk. When nerves are pressed too long, whether in the arms, legs, or spine, they can suffer permanent damage. Tingling, numbness, and loss of coordination can all begin in that long, unmoving night. Caregivers often miss the signs. No tossing or turning is seen as a good night's sleep. But in reality, movement is part of life. And its absence during sleep can be the body's cry for help. To prevent this, gentle stretching before bed, body pillows for support, and awareness of medications that suppress movement can help. Some even benefit from light massage or repositioning if they're unable to turn on their own. Stillness may look peaceful. But in an aging body, it can mean the systems have slowed too much. That the body is no longer correcting itself. That sleep has become too quiet. Movement is life, even at rest. And encouraging gentle shifts during the night can protect circulation, nerves, joints, and even hope. Because sleep is not the end of activity. It's the body's silent work of healing. And that work must continue, even when dreams take hold. Conclusion: the way we sleep is the way we age. It's strange, isn't it? We spend a third of our lives asleep, yet we rarely think about how we sleep. We assume rest comes just by closing our eyes, by surviving the day and collapsing into bed. But for those of us over 60, for those we love who are aging, sleep is no longer passive. It's a choice. A pattern. A quiet ritual that either restores life, or slowly takes it away. You've seen him sleep. You've watched him shift, or not shift. You've noticed the sounds, the stiffness, the way he breathes, or stops breathing. You've seen the pain in the mornings. The fatigue in his eyes. The way his steps are slower. His words sometimes forgetful. And all along, you wondered, is this just aging? Or is something else happening, behind the stillness of night? The truth is, the body tells stories in the dark. Every sleep position is a message. A code. A signal of comfort, or distress. When the spine collapses, when the lungs compress, when the heart strains just to beat through the long hours of sleep, that is not rest. That is survival. And survival is not enough. Not for someone you love. Not for the man who once carried the world for you.